question on what you're saying just now. Are you talking about reform, the rise of reform, who are taking votes from all parties in council by-elections across the country? And when you talk about the politics of fear and despair, they're talking about the politics of frustration. But secondly, are you concerned at what the Prime Minister is doing about cutting international development spending to invest in defence spending, and what that could mean, for example, for jobs in East Kilbride?
On the first part of your question, Colin, I am very concerned about the rise of far-right politics. And I want to use my office as First Minister to work with other parliamentary parties
Does that mean reform?
Pardon?
Does that mean reform?
Yes, of course it does. Yes, of course it does, Colin. And I want to work with other political parties to set out clearly and boldly to the public what we can agree on as the norms and the values of our society, and how we can protect those, because I think they are under threat. I think they're under very, very vigorous threat from the politics of Farage. And I think there are clearly differences of opinion between myself and other political parties. Of course there are. But there is an overwhelming underpinning of common ground about the values that we hold dear, about our politics and our society. So I want to give the leadership to bring people in Scotland together, not just in a parliamentary sense, but in a civic sense, to make our presence felt in protecting the values of our country. And then in relation to your point about the Prime Minister's decision, I understand the Prime Minister's, the importance the Prime Minister attaches to increasing expenditure to ensure that we can deal with the threats that we face as a society. And but I think the choices that have been made about slashing international aid are the wrong choices. I think they are short-sighted, because I think if we go back to the foundations of the principles of international aid, the principles of international aid are about trying to address some of the fundamental issues about inequality within our world, which if we don't address them through international development aid, these issues will come back to be a challenge and a difficulty for us. And that's exactly why I think the choices been made are their own choices about where the money is coming from. I'll come to Lindsay Bewes now from the BBC. Lindsay.
Thank you, First Minister. Are you suggesting that the tens of thousands of Scottish people who voted for Reform UK in the general election and may be considering voting for Reform UK in the next Scottish election